Californians' power bills are going to go sky high, and the dollar amount might just shock you. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the California energy company PG&E announcing crazy, astronomical, ridiculous rate hikes. You're talking about $32 per month. Now, eventually, the rates will go back down. Well, I'm not sure about saying the word back down. They're going to decrease after about 2 or 3 years. But in the meantime, they're going to go up by $32 a month. Now, before I get into the video of them breaking this whole thing down and why they're doing it and the reason why it's crazy, my question is, if you're living in California and you don't smoke crack for a living, you're not an illegal alien, and you're not uber rich like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, if you're not in those two categories and you're in the middle, like most of us, how are you making it? How are you surviving? How does it work for you out there? Now, I understand some parts of California are better than others. If you're living in smaller towns or farming communities, it's better out there. Los Angeles, forget about it. San Fran, Oakland, forget about it. But even in the smaller areas, you still got to pay these high taxes. You're still going to have these high prices. How are you making it? Inflation is a thing that's impacting the entire world. But now you're going to have the higher energy bills. Now, before I go any further into it, let's roll the news clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link, as always, will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Overall, this is an extremely difficult decision. Rates are slated to increase and bills will be higher for customers.
California Public Utilities Commissioners say they struggled with PG&E's rate hike proposal, which will increase the typical monthly bill about $32 or about 13% starting in January.
We know families already struggle to pay their bills, cut back on energy usage at the expense of their own comfort. We also know that the grid and the pipelines that serve these same families need upgrades, repairs, and reinvention.
Let's pause for a minute. So, at a certain point, if you are a company like PG&E and you charge a certain amount for your bills, shouldn't a portion of what you make go back toward investing into infrastructure, into upgrades, and the things like that? So are you not charging enough? Where's the money going? I saw that an executive got like $60 million. Where are you spending the money? Where is it really going? But we're going to get into more of that in a minute.
Proposal unanimously approved by PUC commissioners. It's about $1.8 billion less than the utility requested. PG&E says the rate increase will allow them to underground about 1,200 miles of power lines and increase vegetation management to reduce wildfire ignition risk. It'll also allow the company to upgrade capacity on its electrical grid. But
now let's pause right there, because I wanted them to get to the capacity on the electrical grid. Now, as far as mitigating the wildfires, I understand that, but then there's the issue of arson. There's the issue of California not doing things to mitigate the wildfire, because at the end of the day, is it the power company's responsibility to clean up the forest? Is it their responsibility? Because a wildfire can happen not just from alleged PG&E negligence on the power lines, but also just from a spark. As I said before, an arson. There's different ways that these wildfires can happen in a lot of these dry areas of California. And I think that should be the responsibility of the state. After all, you guys are getting taxed to death in California. So why can't they spend that money on reducing the risk of fire? That's one thing. But beyond that, they're talking about the capacity of the grid. Now, why must they increase the capacity of the grid? I don't know. Maybe all these electric cars coming onto the grid, all these Teslas and Rivians and everything else. And then also they are banning gas, hot water heaters and furnaces in new construction in California, I think starting in 2030. So if everything's going to be electric, obviously they're going to have to upgrade the grid, and you got to pay more. ABL, it'll be cheaper. my Tesla is cheaper. I can't tell. You may not pay your gas at the pump as you did before, but you're going to pay in other ways. It's not free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Let's keep on going.
Dozens of people calling into the hearing said no to the rate hike.
No, PG&E doesn't deserve a rate hike. It deserves to be regulated back where it belongs, in bankruptcy.
I am a campfire survivor in Paradise, California. PG&E rate hikes are outrageous. Fire victims have not been made whole.
The rate increases that are proposed are just mind-boggling. California consumers, energy consumers, can't afford.
Former San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo now directs FAIR California.
We're all frustrated, as so many Californians are, that we are having to tighten our belt so severely to pay for rapidly rising PG&E bills, and the company is not tightening its belt at the time when it's paying its CEO more than $60 million in compensation.
In a statement, PG&E CEO Patty Poppe said, "We appreciate the Commission for recognizing the important safety and reliability investments we are making on behalf of our customers, including undergrounding power lines to permanently reduce wildfire risk." Thursday's hearing was held in El Centro in Imperial County. The CPUC says it's designed to enhance community outreach, but Liccardo says the venue location was likely no coincidence.
Clearly, it's not ideal to have a hearing in El Centro, hundreds of miles away from the nearest PG&E customer, at a time when they're deciding how they're going to impose billions of dollars of new costs on ratepayers.
Utility commissioners say granting the rate increase will require accountability from PG&E. The company will be required to file annual reports on their progress upgrading the grid. The rate increase takes effect January 1st.
So there you have it. PG&E are going to increase your bill if you're living in California and you are a PG&E customer by an average of $32 a month, which goes out to about 13%. Now, as I said, after a certain period of time, I think in 2026, they say that the bills are going to go down. But hey, who knows how that's going to work? You know, sometimes they'll say things, oh, it's temporary. It's just for now. We're going to go back to how things were. That was what they said about C-19 and the closures and everything else. Oh, we'll go back to normal. It's just temporary. And then a lot of the things that happen as a result of all those measures are permanent. While the road at one point was 24 hours, oh, we're going to just temporarily go to a reduced schedule. We're going to close at 10 or 11. And now it's permanent. So maybe these rate hikes will also be permanent. But as I close, I want to say this. If you're living in California, hats off to you. I don't know how you're making it. I don't know. As I said, if you're uber rich, it doesn't really matter. You have enough money to be able to weather any kind of storm. So rate hikes or tax hikes, whatever it is, you'll be fine. If you smoke crack for a living and you living in the streets of San Francisco, Los Angeles, whatever you want, then nothing matters as it relates to you. You're going to be just fine. A lot of these so-called non-governmental organizations, NGOs, they make plenty of money by giving you all your drug paraphernalia, food, whatever. But if you're the people who are not uber rich, just working, taking care of your family, regular people, how are you making it? I don't really understand. I don't get it. This right here is yet another thing that you got to worry about, okay? And they're trying to say it's an environmental thing. They're trying to prevent wildfires. But they're not talking about all these electric vehicles coming onto the grid, and they have to increase capacity for that. They're not talking about how there's going to be no more gas furnaces or hot water heaters in California after 2030, and they got to prepare for that. That's the issue. All these green energy people, everything's got to go electric. They don't understand what really goes behind it, which is going to include everybody paying for the upgrades that only a small number of people actually want. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on the PG&E rate hikes? $32 a month on average, but will it go back down to where it was before? I'm not sure, because what I read, they say $32 a month. Then they said $8 a month is going to decrease. So you see what I'm saying? If what I'm saying is wrong, y'all please correct me. But regardless of what's going on, the bills will raise. It's going to be per month. It's going to be a lot. All because, in my humble opinion, electric cars, electric everything is going to take a lot of money to be able to get that prepared. They'll tell you it's about protecting the environment, reducing the risk of wildfire. But really, I think the bigger piece of that is all electric everything. It comes with a cost. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.